Welcome to Six Figs. I'm Kyle, and in today's video, we're talking about the internet computer. We've got some very important ecosystem news, and we're going to cover the internet computer charts, everything from ICP to Bob and EXE. I'm back from Tokyo, Japan. I was all over the place in Japan the last 2 weeks. Little jet lagged, haven't really been able to crank out any content, but I got a lot of business done there, and I'm back and I'm ready to grind, baby. This is a very nice view from the top of Shibuya, Japan, Tokyo, Japan. It's just a beautiful, beautiful restaurant. Beautiful skyline, to say the least. We've got some good stuff going here, and everybody's been kind of waiting for Bitfinity's Layer 2 mainnet launch, which is happening November 19th. Now, why is this a big deal? We're going to get into this at a very high level. You see, all these other chains like Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, Polygon, they've all got EVM tooling and things like that. So this allows all of these Ethereum devs to deploy their projects very easily on those chains. Now, ICP is going down the same road as some of those projects or chains that I just mentioned. But, you know, we can look at like Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap. Some of those are all EVM chains or projects that you can find across all these different chains. So this is huge. We're going to see a lot more traction happen with this as far as the eco goes, and we're going to cover that in just a second because there are over 6 terabytes worth of data that are stored on the ICP. Now, technically on the ICP dashboard, they have this listed as a tebibyte, which is almost the same thing as a terabyte. I think the tebibyte is just a little bit bigger, or it's just a little bit smaller than a terabyte. I think it's a little bit bigger. However, there's over 6 terabytes of data being stored on ICP. And you can see that the canisters or the smart contracts have been getting deployed like crazy. The cycle burn rate has gone through the absolute roof. We're seeing the amount of ICP get burned through application activity, go through the roof. In fact, in the last couple months, we've seen more ICP burned than we have in like the last 3 years. This is going to be huge, especially even greater than it is now once Bitfinity launches. And when we look at Chain Fusion and we take a look at Chain Key Ethereum and how much this has grown over the last year, because I don't even know if this is a year old yet, but you can see this absolute linear growth, and this is just incredible. Once Bitfinity launches, we're going to see this number shoot up and spike up like crazy because now there's going to be a lot of savings in the form of gas transactions, data storage, and things like that. Chain Key ETH is going to be more desirable. So with that said, I cannot wait for those advancements to hit the eco. ICP guys, they're having a hacker house in Bangkok, November 8th through the 10th. Get your butts over to Bangkok. It is one of the funnest cities I have ever visited in my life. Head on down to Hua Hin, to some of the beaches down there. Absolutely beautiful as well. But Bangkok, I had absolute time of my life out there like a year and a half ago. So it's cool that Bitfinity will be out there. I had a couple projects reach out to me asking if I could make it out to help support their projects. Unfortunately, with this trip to Tokyo the last 2 weeks, my wife would absolutely divorce me. KongSwap, folks. Guys, when I first signed on as an advisor to KongSwap, they told me about this project, and I couldn't stop getting any more bullish about it. We are seeing now sub 5-second swaps, which will be improved over time. But this has all of a sudden emerged as one of the fastest swaps on ICP. And it's got well over 10,000 transactions in a row without any failures. So with that said, this thing does have a place within the ICP ecosystem. And it all comes down to the construction of how they built Kong Swap and the canister setups and things like that. Kong Swap, folks, is doing an SNS raise. Your choice to participate, not mine. But check it out. It's doing very well right now with over 219,000 ICP committed. They're going to have a Kong token with 1 billion Kong tokens in circulation. So with that said, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description for you. ICP, and we're going to talk in great detail about ICP and a super bullish setup that I'm seeing, Bob token and EXE as well. It's up 7.5% on the day, right? We're seeing Internet Computer, folks, right now sitting at $8.15 with a market cap of $3.85 billion. Now, when people come to me and ask me my price predictions going into the bull market, there's one thing that I do. I look at similar projects from the previous bull run, and I look at like the top 50 and what kind of market caps those projects hit. Obviously, we're going to see market caps going a lot higher with the $8 trillion or $10 trillion projection of liquidity that is about to enter crypto. If that does happen, we'll see insane prices. But right now, folks, we're seeing ICP, and you'll notice this little doodle I've got drawn up. We've got a very nice symmetrical triangle squeeze, and this has been going on since July. It's been boring price action. This drives me nuts. But there is a caveat to this. I do suspect, and I've talked to you guys for the last few months about this possibility of a cup and handle forming. It's under, my impression that this thing's almost formed. So if we can get a rip back up to about the $20-ish level, I think that we're going to see ICP do very well, and we'll cover that in just a second. But ICP, folks, right now is in this squeeze. And if this thing rips above like $9.60, we'll just go 50 cents plus or minus 20 cents. I think that this thing, if this thing can reach like $9.75, you'll know that we've broken out of this symmetrical triangle. And we could be on this way up to retest the $20 level. Now, what's really interesting about this, and I've been calling for this cup and handle for months on end now, but when we look at the potential price action, there's two ways that you can do this, especially when you have a cup and handle, folks. The first method is very conservative. Right? We want to know maybe what is the least amount that we could see ICP run to. Basically, what this trend line is it's a measurement from the top of the brim down to this low point of the cup. And when you stack this at the low point of the handle, you could see that ICP, has the potential to minimally run to $44. But I think it's going to go much higher than that. And I think that we're going to see maybe $145. At the higher end of things, if we stack this trend line on top of the cup and handle, you can see that we're right up around that $145 line. Now, I've seen a lot of people throwing out crazy numbers like 1,000, etc. And we're not going to speculate on 1,000. I do think that it has the potential to hit 1,000 someday, but what is it going to take for ICP to hit $145? Once we hit $145, then we can start talking about $200 and $500 and so on. So right now, let's just say that we're looking at $145 market cap, $145 ICP, excuse me. We will divide this by $8.15, and that leaves us with a known fact that it's going to be 17.8 x to 145. Now we need to times this by $3,850,000,000. We're just gonna do this, just round it up. So basically, that would leave us with about a $68 billion market cap. Now, the last cycle, we saw Solana, Cardano, we saw Avalanche, a bunch of other chains reaching this $60 to $100 million market cap. And I think that we're going to see these chains hit a lot higher market caps going forward. But in ICP's case, I think that a $68-70 billion market cap or $145 ICP is a fairly conservative and respectful number at this point in time. This could all change, right? As far as I'm concerned. So that's my thoughts on ICP. Now, Bob, guys, I haven't made a Bob video for a long time, probably like a month. I've been so busy. I've been traveling all over the world. I've been editing video footage for a project that I'm helping out. And what we're seeing here is when this thing was kind of tumbling after this thing launched, I was telling everybody, watch this 10-cent area. Watch the 10-cent area. And this thing held strong at 10 cents. And now here we are, 2.5x, to 26 cents. So right now, as far as Bob is concerned, I do think that there might have been some Elliott wave theory impulse waves here. I'm not quite sure on how these might have played out, but it appears to me that we are seeing somewhat of a corrective wave form at this point in time. Now, I do think that this corrective wave is probably close to realizing its end. And I do think, like, on a grander scheme, we might be seeing Bob get ready to make another run. Because on this grander scheme, if we look at Elliott wave theory, we could be gearing up to see a move like this, maybe back up to this dollar region. Again, none of this is financial advice or anything like that. There is, not a whole lot of people trading Bob outside the ICP ecosystem. So liquidity is fragmented very much so in the ICP ecosystem. And, the one thing I feel like the community needs to do is we need to start getting out there instead of extracting cash from all the other ecosystem members within ICP. It's just like one big circle jerk of cash moving around, and it never grows. We need to go out and attack some projects or things like that outside of the ICP ecosystem, like Ethereum, for example. And we need to extract liquidity from some of those charts and start bringing it into the IC. Now, for the last few months, I've been telling y'all that EXE is in this falling wedge and that we're going to see this thing pump. And for like the last month and a half, I've been telling you guys about this potential inverse head and shoulders that is possibly going to form. We're on the daily chart right now, and I do think that there is a possibility to maybe come back down and retest this like 60 cent-ish level. But as far as I'm concerned, this inverse head and shoulders pattern is doing very well at this moment in time. On the daily, we're seeing the RSI really float around 37 points. So it's got a lot of options to kind of turn around and retest some more highs. Very similar to the cup and handle scenario on Bob, we can take the inverse head and shoulders and really apply the same concept to trying to gauge where this thing's going to possibly pump to. So if I had to take a guess, it has all the potential in the world to maybe come back to some all-time highs around $2.23. And I'm assuming these are all-time highs because Dex Screener doesn't have any price action prior to this. So with that said, watch out for this. And I do think that if we throw down some Fibonacci extensions, we're seeing like the 327 right up here. And that's a very popular point for traders to sell positions and things like that. But as far as I'm concerned, we got a solid 3 to 4 to 5x to go for EXE right now. We're just going to wait for this right shoulder here to kind of fill out a little bit. So guys, I love you all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys all on the next video.